Hey guys, it's Gio in the Philippines here, and today we're going to tackle a very important topic, and that's how to safely and easily pay for everything as a foreigner living or traveling in the Philippines. With so many different payment methods here, from cash, e-wallets, to bank transfers, it can get a bit confusing at times on just what methods you should be using or have. But don't worry, in today's video I'll be breaking it all down for you, so you don't get ripped off or stuck without a way to pay. So stick around for today's video. A lot of important information coming up next.
The island waves and palm trees got me wishing I could leave.
Alright guys, so first I want to say cash still remains supreme here in the Philippines. It's still very much a cash society, and the majority of Filipinos are using cash. But as time has evolved here, it is getting more and more popular to use things like debit cards, to use e-wallets, bank transfers, cash remittances, and things like that. But in the rural areas, marketplaces, or transportation-wise, cash, again, is still very much king, except for Grab, which you can hook up to a card or an e-wallet to use. But, you know, there are downsides, especially as a foreigner or tourist, or even living here as an expat. But still, carrying large amounts is risky. And ATMs can have high withdrawal fees or sometimes be unreliable. The ATM doesn't work with your card. The machine is out of order. The machine's out of cash. Things like that. So just a quick tip here, by the way. Use ATMs from big banks like BPI, BDO, or HSBC, and always bring small bills. 500 and 1,000 peso notes here in the Philippines can be hard to bring. In fact, anyone who's been here or lives here will know that this is the case. You go to so many places and they'll say, "Sorry sir, I don't have change." And they'll have to run around and go chat with other businesses to see if they can break that bill. So every chance you get, have that bill broken into smaller bills. So credit cards and debit cards, you know, where exactly do they work? In big cities and malls, cards are accepted at most retailers, restaurants, and even grocery stores, and also hotels. But many small businesses, tricycle drivers, and local vendors are still cash only. Always check for hidden foreign transaction fees or dynamic currency conversion. That can add up quite fast. And another tip, use an FX travel fee card from your home country if possible, meaning no fees, like a USAA, Navy Federal Credit Union, Fidelity, Schwab. All of those are good and will reverse that ATM fee for you. So I did want to talk about an updated e-wallet option for 2025 featuring MoretaPay. Now, here's where things get exciting. Foreigners often struggle using apps like GCash or PayMaya, and since you need a local SIM and verified ID, that's where MoretaPay changes the game. Moretta is the only QR wallet built specifically for foreigners in the Philippines. And here's what makes it different. It works with all QR codes in the country: GCash, QRPH, PayMaya, InstaPay, and even bank transfers. You can load funds from your US, UK, or European bank account, or use international cards like Visa, MasterCard, and Amex. You get 1% cash back on your spending. It's completely free to sign up and takes only a few minutes. You also get access to the real exchange rate, no hidden markups. And now, in 2025, Moretta is also available in Thailand, Vietnam, and Indonesia. So if you're bouncing around Southeast Asia, you are covered. Want an easy, safe way to pay across Asia? Sign up for free at MoretaPay.com. Links are in the description and also the pinned comment. So bank transfers and remittances. If you're sending yourself money from abroad, Wise is not a bad option. Remitly, those are all different ways that you can use cash remittances, but use that maybe as a backup. Low fees, real exchange rates, and fast transfers directly to your Philippines bank or GCash or MoretaPay. So some safety tips for paying in the Philippines. Avoid card skimming by using ATMs inside malls or banks, inside banks. don't withdraw money from outside on the streets. Never hand your card over at a restaurant that may seem kind of shady to you. Always use terminals you can see. And better at a restaurant or a cashier that actually has the machine right there, maybe brought out to your table, or even request it. If using an e-wallet, don't share QR codes or OTPs with anyone. And lastly, always have backup options, whether it's cash, Moretta, or Wise. So here's how I personally pay for things on a day-to-day basis. In rural areas or markets, I use cash. Like I said, cash is king, and I still use cash quite often. For most shops, restaurants, malls, hotels, things like that, I typically now use MoretaPay because it works everywhere. And now even when I'm traveling to Thailand and Cambodia, I can use MoretaPay there as well. And it works with all the different e-wallets, and I can scan any QR code at any place of business. It's super easy. And when I send money from the US or Europe, I use Wise. I also keep a small amount in GCash, but I avoid relying on it because of verification issues. Also, GCash is actually very hard sometimes for foreigners, or as a tourist, it's not even available, and MoretaPay is, but GCash, you typically have to have a phone number, local phone number, local address, and usually some kind of Philippines ID like an ACR card or maybe a Philippines driver's license. All right, guys, different location, but I had a few more things I wanted to add in that I had forgot when I was at the coffee shop. So number one, how to safely pay for rent or condos here in the Philippines. Now, a lot of landlords are either going to prefer cash or direct bank deposits. Some even ask for post-dated checks. Don't ever do post-dated checks, and even if they wanted that, unless you have a actual checking account here in the Philippines, you can't provide that anyway. So it's an easy way to say, listen, I don't have a checking account here. No problem. That's why a service like Wise or Payoneer works well for that. You can direct deposit it right into their account, which is what I do every month. And just make sure you get proof of payment, screenshot that, send it to them on Facebook Messenger or email, and ask for a confirmation back that they received it. And then you have it for your records, and they can't come back and say, oh, you didn't pay the rent. You have the proof there. Now, I did want to talk about, because we were talking about using cards in the Philippines and things like MoretaPay or GCash or other e-wallet services. Just remember, unlike other countries, for example, the US, where you can pay your bill with a card and then you can add a tip on, you can't do that in the Philippines. So when you pay for a card, if you want to leave a tip, if a service charge isn't included, by the way, look on your receipt. Sometimes they'll add 5%, 10%, depending how big of a bill you had. If it's a big bill and they're taking 10%, then I usually don't leave anything. But if it's 5% and it's just me and a 500 peso meal, then I feel kind of obligated to leave them a little extra. Usually like 20 pesos, 50 pesos, even 100 pesos, depending how big the bill is. Just helps them out because they do make very low wages and they don't really count on tips so much, but it certainly helps them out. And by the way, if all you have is like an e-wallet like MoretaPay or GCash or PayMaya, then you want to make sure you ask them before you sit down and order all the food, make sure that they have that's their GCash or whatever is up and running. Because I've gone into places before and they said, oh, sorry, we're not connected, or we don't take it. Typically, I've almost never run into a place that does not take like GCash, Pay, Maya. And again, you don't even need to open those services. You can just have the MoretaPay and it'll take care of any of those apps. And again, also like in Thailand and Cambodia and Indonesia and other places. And just a little tip for digital payment safety. Use two-factor authentication for your banking apps, your e-wallets. Scammers do operate here. I have been scammed before where they actually withdrew money out of my account, and I had charges on my bank account from DoorDash in the US. And obviously I can't use DoorDash. I'm here in the Philippines, so I was able to dispute it, and I did get my money back, but I did have to cancel the card, get a new one. This is where backups, having another second bank account, Wise, MoretaPay, things like that come in handy. Just don't ever click random QR codes like on social media and that. You got to really be careful that it's not some kind of scam. You know, keep your phone secured, avoid logging into banking apps and your e-wallet and other stuff on public Wi-Fi, or if you do, get a VPN. The one again I recommend is Surfshark VPN. I recommend the one with Antivirus, which is Surfshark 1. Link is in the description. So whether you're buying street food, paying rent, or transferring thousands of pesos, there's always a secure way to handle your money here in the Philippines. Just stay smart, use tech to your advantage, and remember, foreigners are often targeted not because they're rich, but because they look unfamiliar with the system here. And hopefully now you know how to play the game a little bit safer. And again, there has been incidents where foreigners have been robbed right after they've used the ATM, like out on the street and at like nighttime. Simple stuff, guys. Don't use the ATM on a street. Go into a bank or into a mall. The mall is probably the best place to go because there's security guards, or into the bank itself to use it during daylight hours, and make sure nobody's standing there watching you. So whether you're just visiting or planning to live in the Philippines, knowing how to pay like a local will save you a ton of stress and money. Check out all the links in the description to get started with MoretaPay, Wise, VPNs, and more. And if you need help planning your move or just want tips for your trip, book a one-on-one consultation with me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.